What's up guys, ZiSotto here, and today we're reviewing the patch notes, or we're live viewing the patch notes for patch 5.4. The review will follow afterwards as usual. Today is gonna be a little bit different. It is insanely hot in here, fitting with the new god. So I'm gonna have to spray myself with water in between, so don't be irritated if that happens. Other than that, we'll get right into the show right now, and the review will come afterwards if I didn't say that yet. Let's go. And I'll obviously adjust the audio as usual. Also, the sound is already very hype compared to normally. Alright, so it was Athena and not Nike for that skin. That was a teaser the other day. Audio levels seem fine so far. I hope it stays like that. And I hope we survive this somehow because it's so hot. Another one that's fitting with the climate, and that one looks really cool. Wow. Reminds me of World of Warcraft.
Welcome in, everybody. It's the 5.14 update show. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll be your host, Aggro. And look, if you've never seen an update show before, first of all, what have you been doing? Secondly, welcome in. And third, here's what we got for you. We do bug fixes, we do item balance, god balance, some new skins. And for 5.14 in particular, we got a new god, Pele, coming to the battleground of the gods. It's going to be a good one. But we'll start with seeing some in-game previews of those skins you just took a look at in that little intro video. But first, we're going to start with Primal Storm Susanoo. This is one of my favorite assassins, and he's looking like a beast.
Nice.
A lot like the Ares skin that we had just a couple updates ago. Nice. This one looking real good. Susanoo decked out for the cold. Hopefully it doesn't get too warm on the battleground of the gods and all that fur. Molten Habwa is next up. Got a little bit of a preview of this one. My man's looking real evil. Speaking of getting warm, he's looking like it right now. That lava.
Very nice.
I think we're going to see a lot of lava today. Not just with this skin, but maybe with some Pele as well. A little bit of a preview for you guys. As well as Mystic Guardian Athena. This one looking really, really cool. Athena, you're going to see her in your games. She's a really good god to play. She's a really good god to play with. And you're
I honestly think she has better skins already.
Mystic Guardian.
It's a nice skin, but I think she has better ones.
Get it, because you'll look good. That's what I'm telling
you.
But
that's personal preference. I think a lot of people will like it.
Maybe not that one, but I'm going to try at least. All right, let's throw it over to the desk. Let's get straight into the bug fixes and the item balance and all that kind of good stuff.
Quick today,
Throw
wow.
over to Pon and the illustrious,
lighting may change a little bit, by the way.
One of my favorite coworkers, Graham Hinduman Hatfield.
I don't know. I'm kind of confused at why he was so nice. It's unusual for Ryan. He's very mean to me all the time.
Yeah, I've seen the cast every single day. He just constantly barrages you. What
I have to deal with, unfortunately, Pompon. It's the world I live in. How are you all doing at home? Good to see you once again. Pompon joining me. Pomp, today, obviously, I guess not too many item and god balances, or is there?
There are quite a few changes, but there's not as many, I think, as people might expect coming off the mid-season patch. The big thing is it just came out. People are starting to play with it.
Yeah, I figured there wouldn't be too much yet. They need to get their statistics first.
Specifically healers using some of the items really effectively.
Okay.
But outside of that, we're going to wait to see how everything kind of resolves. 5.15, you'll see more of the direct mid-season balance coming in. Unless, of course, there's an emergency or something major gets discovered and people start really abusing something, then, of course, we'd bring it into 5.14 if we can. But 5.15 is probably where you see most of that.
Let's get on with it then. We're going to start with bug fixes first of all. First one, Plosh, if you've not already recognized this. Let's get it fixed. The Empty the Crypts fixed an issue where this ability would damage towers and phoenixes. Can you explain to me how that happened? Just out of interest.
Projectiles have specific things they can target, and they were just target all.
Cool.
And so it targeted all.
Well, now we've let everybody know that until this patch comes out. Go abuse it, I would. Mercury, fastest god alive. Fix an issue where the movement speed from Bumba's mask would not provide additional power until something else updated his movement speed.
Yeah, this one is actually a really weird bug, but it's been fixed. Bumba's will now work properly with Mercury's passive.
That's it for bug fixes. There may be more in the official patch notes later on, but it's time to move on to the items. Now, item-wise, what's the major focus this week, Pom?
So the big focus here is just looking at some underutilized items, making sure that they have their kind of roles in place, looking to bring back kind of a style of warrior, the more auto-attack focused warriors, as well as Lona's mask adjustments for specifically healers who are using it really, really well.
Okay, let's go then. See what we've got. Atalanta's bow, I should say. Added 10% movement speed. We've decreased the max stacks of this passive from 4 to 3.
Okay, this could be more interesting now.
Stack from 7% to 5%. Movement speed option to make up for loss of the katana tree. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, more movement on it overall.
Just could be very
but then
interesting.
the stacks are worth a little bit less.
Yeah, so the Catan tree has the movement speed options, and a lot of that was removed from hunters.
Right.
And so Atalanta's bow is meant to really bring this more movement speed option to hunters.
Sure.
But without that upfront utility of just having the increased movement speed, it just wasn't effective enough. So we're giving it some upfront movement speed, taking away some from the passive. So this should be a nice attack speed and power item that also gives a bit more movement speed for the hunters who want the extra movement speed.
Interesting. I think it's been in a spot for a while there, Pon, that we've seen. It could have been viable, but it's not been seen.
I'm thinking Erlang Shen, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Erlang Shen,
Moving
because
on
he
then
is,
from Atlanta's bow to
he has his
Gladiator's
katana built in.
shield. We've added a component to this item where basic attacks heal 1% of your maximum health and mana on successfully hitting an enemy.
Wow.
We've also updated the description to clarify these heals can trigger multiple times per ability or basic attack, scaling on the number of targets hit.
Yes. So long story short here is basic attackers, so like Osiris, Bellona, Erlang Shen can now use this item much more effectively. They've been kind of out of the meta since we removed
Bellona can use this so well now.
Early sustain was often really kind of unhealthy.
Sustain, like, between her basics and her abilities.
They can still get this kind of sustain when they choose to box, but it comes online a little bit later than Deathtoll did.
Okay.
Just gives them that extra option, that extra flexibility, and then the tooltip update is just to make sure that it was really clear how it interacted.
I gotta break these numbers down, but I feel like this might
once
be...
per ability per target hit. So if you hit...
If you have 700 health, this is already 7 healed per basic.
But if you hit 4 people, you heal 4 times.
Okay, so the more targets.
And you still have ability and basic attack heals, not just one. But only on guards.
A bit of in between, and a bit of a buff there as well.
Interesting.
That's Gladiator Shield. We'll move on to Lono's Mask, which has been one of those ones that everyone was a little bit worried about when it was first released. Well, this is going to have a little bit of a new sacrifice stat to it. We're going to add this to the passive, minus 20% healing done.
Yes,
Shocker.
so essentially the damage mitigated made any form of healing very, 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 very effective.
Yeah.
So making sure that the survivability comes from just the raw survivability it has, not from that plus the extra sustain that kind of breaks the item. Healing done is also reduced.
Affects quite a few guys, actually.
Healing done total, so
I was
that's
about to say,
like...
is that potions and things too?
It's potions and things too. If you are like Aphrodite, when you heal yourself, it'll be 80%, but also when you heal your ally, it'll be 80%.
Okay, so a big hit to the healers.
Good change. Reasonable change.
If you don't, you'll be okay.
Interesting for some guards.
That's it for the items this
like
week.
Arachne or whatever.
There, Atalanta's bow. I'm never going to say it right.
Yep.
And Gladiator's Shield with the buffs. Lono's Mask with the nerf. It's not all we've got, though. It's time to move on to the God section now, Pom Pom.
Yeah.
Gods this week, anyone specific or anything crazy out there that we're looking at changing or focusing on role at all?
So a few shifts, making sure that some characters who have been traditionally a bit frustrating are a little less so. You'll see some camera height adjustments that we saw last patch is more so this time around.
Very nice.
To make
I like the
characters more
consistency.
consistent. And then a few kind of nice tweaks to certain characters that have been a little bit out of the meta to really help them come back in. Pretty good stuff.
Achilles will be the first one on this list, and I believe this is one of those shifts.
Yep.
Gift of the Gods, the health bonus increased from 35 plus 10 per level to 25 plus 10 plus 15 per level. My bad. That means it's 235 to 325. And the protections bonus of this increased from 5 plus 1 per level to 5 plus 1.5 per level. 25 to 35 overall there. Radiant Glory. Physical power and protections now scale from 15% is now going to be 10, scaling up to 20%. So early game, not as good, but shift towards the late game. And combat dodge, the cooldown has been changed. It was 12 seconds at all ranks. It's now going to scale down from 14 to 10 as you max this ability out.
He's really...
And also the damage has been reduced of this ability too. It was 55 to 215. It's now going to be 50 to 210.
Yes.
So it really is a focus towards the later stages a little bit more.
His nerfs are very minor. He's still performing well.
That's just something we've kind of seen traditionally is when he was released, he was very, very potent early game. His stats never actually had him succeeding that often.
Sure.
But the early game frustration was really hard to overcome, and so we saw his ban rate really climb. People have started to realize after the nerfs he's received that he's not as kind of useful or as wanted.
Dominant.
Or as dominant's a good word. So he's been falling on the ban rate. So now we feel comfortable doing a shift for him, specifically targeted towards bringing down his early game. So he's still an early game god. He'll still have that extra pressure.
Yeah.
But it's not so oppressive when you're trying to fight him. And then shift it so that he actually has more utility late game. The
very interesting.
Is better. The Radiant Glory bonus is better. The cooldown reduction on combat dodge is better for the late game because that's traditionally where he's really, really hard falled off.
Sure.
So hopefully this should bring him to a more balanced state, a more kind of even state. He's still early focused, but he won't be really, really weak in the late game.
After Achilles, next on the list is Bacchus Aura. And this one is going to be an increased camera height. It was 42.
Nice.
It's going up to 64. So we're kind of following the same trend Cupid with this, with some of these.
I like it.
The big thing is make the
Achilles is more interesting though. I really don't know where that's going to put him.
Low, you lose a lot of
because he was still good.
What's around you. Not even so much like height, but just like your field of vision is lower,
Peripheral
making it so
vision,
that's more
isn't it?
consistent. We also have still have mana on this list as well.
We're about to touch those now. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were going from 30. They were 36. That's crazy.
they're
36 to
short.
64. So they're all going up to 64, basically.
Yes.
Scylla, Bacchus Aura, and Vermont are now going to have a bit more.
Oh my god.
Room to look around, and peripheral vision will increase.
Yeah, and I think the only note is some characters do have higher than 64.
Right.
That's largely because, like, for example, Zeus. He's really tall and big, but he also floats.
Zeus?
And so if you kept it only at 64, he'd end up covering the camera vision really hard.
Okay.
So some characters are going to be higher than 64, but bringing up the baseline so it's consistent among most gods will help not only players like be able to switch between gods better, but it'll just feel nicer.
Okay, that's those for those three. Next up is Freya. Now, Freya's been one of those talks of the town for a while. Here's the
Nerfs.
changes. Northern Lights, we've decreased the magical power scaling of this ability. It was 60%, it's going down to 50%. And Aurora Blade.
Wait, what?
Not working today. It's like I do this for a job. Decreased mana cost per shot. It was 25 up to 57. It's now going to be 20 to 40. So, less damage, but more spammability, I guess.
Yes,
Is the best way to
But that's
essentially,
it?
The goal was to shift her more towards being able to do this magical hunter role, and specifically the really high mana
What?
cost late game was a bit too restrictive in that role.
Okay.
You ran out of mana a bit too quickly. You weren't able to sustain as long as we'd probably expect a hunter to be able to sustain a fight like that. So we're helping bring that up. But the big thing we saw was also people were getting bursted down really hard by the one. So bringing that down so that it's not so much of a burst mage feel, but then bringing up the ability to be that hunter, to be able to shoot more shots, should help kind of balance out her overall game flow.
Next up is Scotty on the list.
I was going to say it. Artemis has less scaling on a physical ability than Freya on the magical.
Scotty fans that like
Still.
I mean, I get upset. Decreased time taken to regenerate 1 hit point on Calder, the wolf. It was gone from
nice.
10 seconds to 7
But I'm still more
seconds.
concerned
So the
with
wolf's gonna have
Freya not
points
getting more
often,
nerfs.
so
I'm
it's gonna be able to
surprised.
be used more often. And piercing
It's
cold,
still very
we're
strong.
decreasing the cooldown of this. It was 15 seconds.
Even after this.
It's now going down to 14 seconds. It's not much of a buff. It's just a
Yeah.
little bit of a push, right?
Yeah, I think the big thing here is we've adjusted Calder quite a bit so that the big thing is he was frustrating to kind of fight early on.
Sure.
He's been toned down, and so now we feel comfortable giving him some survivability back, allowing him to be in the fight more often,
Right.
which will help Calder players actually deal a lot of damage because Calder is a big, or Scotty players deal
Big
more damage
part
to
of it.
Calder. It's a big part of Scotty's damage. And then just the 1 second cooldown reduction on Piercing Cold, not only does that help augment Calder's damage, it helps her clear, helps her poke more reliably. It's a very small adjustment, but it will have an impact.
2 more to go, and they're both of the major variety for you all at home. The Morrigan is next on the list, and her Dark Omen, the second ability, if you don't know what that is, because I always struggle with this one, increase the minion bonus damage from 20 to 80, is now going to be
Wow.
40 to 160.
Yep.
Please note that's minions, that is not against
Yes.
gods.
A lot more clear.
Correct. And
A
so
lot
the
more.
god damage is always basically this damage. So the big thing here is it basically is from 60 at level 1 to 80 damage at level 1. It goes from, I believe it was 105 to like 140. So essentially this is just a bump to her early wave clear so she can better compete with other mages.
Nice.
The big thing was she was really, really far behind. And that's partially because she brings so much utility in that ultimate. That flexibility is really huge.
Yeah.
But the level that she was behind other mages in that clear didn't seem justified for that extra strength she brings. So we're bringing that up a little bit so she can better compete, and then hopefully that will translate into more mid and late game presence as she had a slightly stronger early game.
Okay, so helping her out in the early game there for Morrigan. And the next up is Vulcan. Yeah, Vulcan's going to get some love too.
Yeah, this is fun.
Backfire, his first ability, if you don't know it, is going to go through walls. Huzzah! A
Yep.
major ability that goes through walls.
It'll work.
I've never seen it.
Rocket
You can
science.
snipe the mid
Not there.
harpies. You can snipe people around the corner that
sounds pretty
you have ward.
It's already
It's
short
not
range
actually gonna do
anyway, so
much.
just make sure when you do try and do it through the walls, realize it doesn't go that deep, so thick walls might not work
Yep.
as well. And
Exactly.
also Inferno Cannon. This one's the most interesting one to me. Inferno Cannon now deals damage as if the target had 25% less magical protections. You what?
So I
Okay.
think the big thing here is we made a change to pets a while ago where they don't take item passes.
Right.
And so Vulcan's turret is a pet. Then we changed Obsidian
Oh,
Shard
okay.
to work in a way that it cared about the target's magical protection. So essentially, Obsidian Shard lost any functionality with this turret. And with that change, turret became a lot more difficult to use, especially because you often were hitting the tanks. You were hitting their front line because that was the target that was there right in front of everyone.
Okay,
That
that's
place
fair.
it down, that's who it's hitting.
Yeah.
Someone dived you in the back, you toss it down, that's who it's hitting. So by making it so that it has essentially baseline magical shred, it'll help deal with those situations, help make up for that change. It's also kind of a nuke thing. It's like fire, lava that's being shot at
Yeah.
you. It kind of makes sense that it shreds through things. So just a nice utility bump for him, damage bump for him.
If anything, it helps the turret a little bit in the earlier stages of the game, and then as the game goes on, it keeps it relative, I guess.
Yep.
It keeps it kind of useful. So that's Vulcan, and that's it for the God section this week. Obviously, we had the big Midsummer patch, so there won't be massive amounts of changes here. 3 buffs, Skadi, Morrigan, Vulcan. bit of a nerf to Freya, and a shift for Achilles. We'll see how all those play out.
Yep, and we are still watching for all the masks that we added.
Yeah, how are they doing?
Interesting. We've seen people try the Guardians being much more aggressive to some success. Obviously, the Mage Healers were really, really good with Lonos.
Sure.
Bumbas, people are flexing out into a whole bunch of situations. The amount of meme movement speed builds I've seen is really fun. So we're going to keep watching them and seeing how they can perform. If any adjustments need to be made, of course, that'll probably be 5:15, unless, of course, someone finds a break case.
Sure.
Then we can bring that in a little bit earlier.
Well, nice and quick here on the desk. One step closer towards Pele. But before we get to Pele, let's get it back to the lovely Ryan Seacrest waiting on the desk right about now, well, on the casual side, I should say, to go through the skins this week.
Hey, thanks for the compliment, Hindu. You did a great job during that.
What is going on today on these
Keep up the
patch
great
notes?
work. Sorry, I don't want to offend you. Let's get into his skins then. I'm joined now on the casual set by a couple resident artists. We got Ben and Chris there, and of course, Clumsy, a designer here with us as well. What's up, dude?
You know, Tina couldn't make it, so they decided to throw me on board.
Oh,
Right.
So you're going to make the inappropriate jokes then, is what you're telling me.
I mean, one of us will. One of us will, right?
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
try
I
to
think
think someone has to.
Yeah, someone's got to pick up that slack of Tina throwing things that make me and everyone feel uncomfortable all at the same time. Let's get into the skins then. We started off with that Susanoo skin that we saw to start this update show. It's Primal Storm Susanoo, and like
I don't know why,
this is
but
very similar theme to that recent Ares skin that we had. But I notice that one of the big things about Susanoo is that he usually has that hat there. No hat on this skin.
Yeah, so the hat's always been a thing that's been a staple for the guy.
skin is nice,
So when
but
they
it's just
skin, we're
like,
man, he's always gonna have some hat.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
a
So
Susanoo
with
skin,
this
you
one,
know?
we're like, you know
Just
what,
like,
man? Let's try something different and do something
nothing
where he doesn't have a
fancy,
hat.
I guess.
So he's not gonna like pull his helmet off or
Nope.
something, or like tug it by his horns.
None of that.
That is a big part of his idle animations and things like that. So what did you? I mean, well, I guess we'll see if we get a different
The
sort of-
animation team did some extra work.
Oh,
Yo,
nice.
that sword is
I see that.
sick.
Yeah, that's always my favorite part of Susanoo skins is the sword. Usually on the base ones, it has like that lightning coursing through it. This one,
And just like
not quite as flashy in the lightning. It's just there. It's there to cut
Meaty.
you up.
Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
detail on the model itself and the armor is pretty sweet.
It still has lightning,
Cool,
though.
the same
The
sort of
effects trail on the sword too.
purple
when
effects.
he swings it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can definitely purple, an underrated color. For
It
sure.
works well with this color scheme and many others.
Yes, purple is one that I'm always excited to see. Wind Siphon looks really cool
The
there.
purple with like the electric as well.
Yeah.
Electric yellow.
I really like the animations of this one,
Ooh,
though.
that's some real. Look at those little lightning clouds right there. That's so cool.
Localized thunderstorm over there.
I
That is
wish I
neat.
could. I wish I could summon that. Like someone
Just in
messes
real
like
life.
parks poorly, and I just like thunderstorm over their car.
Nice.
You know?
There's a lot of that going on here.
Yes. Tell me about that. There's the Typhoon, right there. This is really looking good. Chris, tell me a little bit about what your team did for this skin.
Well, like I said, I mean, without having the hat there, that was a really limiting factor on both the animation and the rigging side of things. So being able to pull that out on this model sets us up for future skins on
Yeah, it's
Susanoo,
really
where maybe we don't always have to have that hat, and we have kind of a baseline that we can.
Still want to
work
see the
around.
other animations.
That's really
So
cool.
It's exciting.
It's like future proofing it a little bit. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets you ready for some even more sick Susanoo skins in the future. Also get a new announcer pack from this skin, and so that means that we should probably take a listen to the voice pack itself and see what that announcer pack's kind of going to sound like.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Bravo! You did kill it. Yeah, I'm amazing.
That sound like two different
I don't
voice
think
packs.
You could take on a kitten. My expectations for you are very, very low. After landing a somersault on a beast, I like to say, look, Ma, no hands. I have never been thrown off a beast before. I should start a professional beast rodeo. Mowing ain't easy.
There you
I feel like this whole skin is a reference to something and I don't get it.
Zekis with that
Yeah.
voice actor right there. This one, I mean, you're gonna have a whole team of badass beast killers.
Wait, is this the
Yeah, 'cause
Vegeta
this is
voice
like
actor?
The theme, right? So it's the primal, like you said, with the Ares. Now we've got this.
Yep.
So I
This
like
could be the
having
Vegeta
kind of
voice
like
actor
this
because
Also, Ares and
he
Susanoo
also gets
work
the
very
announcer
well in
pack.
tandem with one another.
Yeah,
So it's really
true.
setting yourself up for some good picks and bans.
I'm
Look
not
good,
sure.
play good. That's what I always say.
Could be that voice.
Next up, Molten Habwa. This one, we got a little bit of preview of the effects
Interesting.
just in the little skin preview video that we had. But this one's looking really good as he's getting praised there on the
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
look at the little
shore.
dude.
I love
That's
that.
great.
He kind of looks like that guy has like this.
It looks like
chicken,
Ragnaros.
head. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Sure.
You know, you guys know what I'm talking about. Some menacing shoulder
Yo.
spikes there.
the shoulder spikes. But what draws me immediately is that like flowing lava on his skirt.
Yeah, not usually just some calm water that flows around Habwa.
I really
not
like
this
this
time.
one.
getting
Really
that,
like
that
it.
molten lava.
The ult's gonna be so good.
That's really, really
You
awesome.
want to tie in the whole Polynesian aspect
Right,
of everything.
right.
You know, like, so, okay,
Pele
let's do like a
patch.
yeah, exactly. So it was like, okay, let's do like a lava themed version. But when we had like him just turning into lava, it was like we needed some nice silhouette breaking details that can kind of be interesting because he can't be like a dude wearing clothes that has lava, right?
Yeah, right,
Right.
exactly.
Burn off. So that's kind of where the spikes and the horns in the front came
So
from.
are we saying like Pele already has a guy friend already? You know?
Yeah, you know, a minion, you know, a homie.
A minion, okay.
Friend, so-
Damn.
someone to hang out with. you
Someone
know?
to hang out with. Yeah.
And that won't get torched. Ooh, that carpet looks so
All right,
good.
So what I'm thinking
like
is
this.
next balance patch we give that carpet damage, right? Because I mean, look at that.
wow, Clumsy.
That seems balanced, right?
Welcome. I hope you enjoy your last part of the skin preview part of the update show because adding another
there's a riot
damaging
now.
ability.
Dude, I mean,
Oh,
it doesn't
wow,
last
the
that
three.
long, right?
You know,
needs
Hobblon doesn't do enough
Oh.
damage. There's the water
at
spout
that.
right now. That's a lava spout now. We're gonna have to change all of these ability names just for this skin. Like, what is that? Water cannon? No way. Like his one is
lava
a
cannon.
lava
That's a
cannon
really
now.
good point.
Yeah, come on now. You're making our job a lot harder if we see this in SPL
Some sort of
play.
Inferno Cannon.
Ooh, maybe. We already saw a bit of
Oh,
an
wow.
Inferno Cannon help out.
Oh,
Oh yeah, this abilities look
it
so
was more
cool.
intimidating before to have like this deluge of water coming at you. Now it's just fire and magma.
That's so awesome. Really, the colors really pop in this
They
skin.
do.
That little undertone of orange and
I
yellow
like this a
coming
lot.
through. Let's take a listen to the voice pack.
Wow! You are doing well. Impeccable. Am I not explosive? Wow! Wow! Follow me, and no doubt you will catch fire. Soon you shall be a searing pile of meat. Is it too soon for Pompeii jokes? Maybe I should wait for the dust to settle.
Tina.
That was a good one.
That's good.
Too soon for Pompeii jokes? Maybe I should wait for the dust to settle.
That was really solid. You know what? The animations for Hobwa, I normally don't think of them as like super intimidating. It's kind of like, you know, oh, he's having some fun with you. But just this aesthetic makes it feel kind of intimidating anyways. The animation's really transferred over.
We've just straight up changed the
Intimidating.
elements of right. Like the water is now just straight
straight
lava.
just
It's not like
water,
cosmic or anything
fire.
like that. We've just straight up changed his element. I think that's really cool.
Still got the dance, of course.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Very intimidating.
Little jig.
For my man Hobwa. I love it. Looking good. All right, Mystic Guardian Athena next on the list. This one also in theme. This one in theme with Mystic Defender Neath. So
that's
you've got plenty of mysticism in the duo lane if you're going with these.
Oh,
two.
Hey,
God.
you have the pair together with this matching skins.
And double globals makes it
Oh, double globals, yay.
even better. Lots of a lot of the Athena skins
that shield.
have a little bit more subtle effects to them. And she can be a hard god to do the effects for, right, Ben?
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's the thing. Like with this one, we wanted to have a lot of the colors pop, like in a lot of the ways, like the hair and all that. And then as a result, the fest gets to follow suit, right?
Of course, absolutely has to.
She's
I
got
think
that,
it's
like,
alright,
pop of,
but
like, the
Athena has
anime
such good
shaders,
skins.
but
It's like
does she have that here, or is that just like the way it's
It's
colored?
it's
Looks
just
really cool.
it's we don't have like a border on it,
right.
but it's
Oh,
like
the dash
that kind
is
of
nice.
Same
flavor.
internal.
Yeah.
I like
Right.
that a lot.
It's
that's
very,
really
very
cool.
close
That is
to
really
it.
cool.
Yeah.
The sounds are pretty cool
That is
there. And, ooh, that little
definitely
she like
cool.
actually
Nice.
turns. Does she like actually disappear there and turn into a different thing? It looks like her model kind of changes to that.
It looks
sprite.
like there might be a
Yeah,
little
she gets
swap right
scaled
there.
out right there, and it's
Oh,
an
yeah?
effect that's
That's
playing.
cool.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
so
that's
cool.
right. She does. Her whole body's kind of ethereal.
That's really, really awesome. The blue continuing even in the effects there. I love the rainbow shield when she gets a block stack.
Yeah, that's right.
And when the reach is ready to go. Oh no, Odin, come back.
Yeah, look at
something
that.
that's
Her,
like
her spear is glowing.
something that's really difficult to notice from a player perspective on this is actually an entirely new Athena rig.
Oh wait.
So the animation team and the rigging team had to do a ton of work to fit her new proportions on this. So there's a lot of work
Can't even
all
tell.
around that may not be noticeable as much from the player perspective, but we definitely put a lot of love into this character.
I like the color
See, like,
change on
bubbles
the
coming out
weapon
when
and
the shield
shield.
wall
so.
explodes. That's great. The attention to detail on that's fantastic. Look at that.
Ooh, yeah, that's really cool. Definitely, like, mystic is the right word for this, where it's
Right.
like that
Oh, wow.
star sort of studded, but also has that mystic element
I
where
love that
everything's kind
glowing
of
spear.
poofing in and out, and the chromatic changes
Yeah.
to everything. Looking really solid. We'll take a look at Defender of Olympus now. Ooh, I love when you guys do these sorts of effects where like
twinkles.
the zoom in. I'm just like, I'm going
This
to
is
save
glorious.
I'm going to save my teammate now. I hope they're as happy as I am whenever I arrive.
The enemies are excited to be
The
fixed.
god skin
exactly.
itself to me is like
All the time.
okay-ish,
Take a
but the
listen to
animations
sound
are
here, this
really
ultimate
nice.
here.
The wings as well when she comes down.
That's
Wow.
really cool. I really like that sort of
Look at
the
that.
bubbly nature
Yeah.
is right there, but still nice and strong overall. Let's take a listen to this voice pack.
Wait a minute. Wow! Follow your heart. That was magnificent. No need to thank me. Talk to the spear because darkness is not welcomed here. I'm going to end this war. Don't try and stop me. Wow, I'm gonna need new villains. The other ones are starting to like me. Listen, people take me seriously no matter what I wear. This doesn't look anything like a Halloween costume.
There you have it. Mystic Guardian Athena, Sandra Saad with that voice pack for you guys. Really great stuff. And guys, I wish I could keep you on to talk about a couple other skins that we're going to be previewing later on. Yeah, we're going to be previewing some T5 skins here on the update show.
Oh,
but
Bellona.
we got to get to Pele pretty soon.
Oh, wait,
so
no,
thanks for
never
joining
mind.
us here on the
Ganesh
casual
and-
set. Let's throw it over to Isaiah and Latigris
Cerberus?
on the
Is it
desk.
Cerberus?
Hey everyone, we're
just
here with a
forgot.
community and esports segment. And how are you doing today, Isaiah?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Pretty awesome. As usual, when we're right after the skins, I have to ask you which one is your favorite.
Definitely Molten Habwa. They're
See-
just the switch up from the
Yeah,
water to lava.
second
It's
that.
just so cool.
I was thinking that. I was like, that's definitely one of my favorites. But then Mystic Guardian Athena, I like some of the intricacy with
yeah.
it. Lots to choose from, everyone. But on the esports side of things, as many of you know, we are in day 3 of the SMITE Summer Finals. Only 6 teams remaining, but at the end of the day, there will be 4. So immediately after the show, you can just keep on watching.
That's right.
for
Just
some
keep on.
esports.
Stay tuned right here on Mixer.
Yeah, have you been catching the land so
On
far?
Mixer.
Unfortunately, haven't been able to kind of keep my eye on the
Here on
stream, but I'm
Twitch.
definitely taking a look at the stats after each day is complete.
Yeah, well, and then we have the weekend ahead where you can catch the rest of it.
Exactly. Yep.
And remember, everyone, with HRX around the corner, we also have the after party, and our first sale of those tickets
I'm gonna
is
turn them down a
available
little bit.
now until Sunday at 11:30 Eastern. This time around, we're doing them kind
Tigers
of in
is a little bit louder
segments,
here.
so make sure that you get them, or else, you know, the 29th is going to roll around, and you're going to think, oh man, I really want to buy an after party ticket, but then I forgot, so
That's right.
boo-hoo.
Oh wow, that more
Definitely,
expensive.
if you're
What?
making your way to HRX at DreamHack Atlanta, you
Oh,
do
it's still
not
main
want to
event.
miss
That's
this
interesting
event.
because it's quite far
There's
away
no
now
party like
compared
an
to
HRX
before.
party.
Oh yeah, ain't
yeah.
that
Thank you for the
truth?
follow, Inverse
right.
Life. I didn't even
Well,
stream.
what's going
but-
on the community side?
Not too much, but I do want to inform all the players this weekend on every game played, you can earn 3 times Worshippers. So there's no better time to grind out those diamonds. Make sure you get all
3
those
times.
masteries up.
Wow.
Woot, woot. And in just a moment's time, we're going to be diving into that god reveal. So
That's
I'm
right.
pretty excited for that.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm so stoked about Pele. The team's been working super hard, and I can't wait for you guys to see her.
Oh, yeah, should be pretty amazing. Any last thoughts just on community and enjoying the time with the Smite land as we have been?
Last words, community, just stay awesome. You guys rock.
Heck yeah. Well, we do have a video online for you. Let's get our first glimpse of Pele.
I think we've seen this one.
Very heart of creation.
We have.
Fire comes. Flame, that oldest agent of destruction, erupting forth to scour all in its path.
Spoiled thanks to yours
But
truly.
this is no natural fire. This is a goddess. This is Pele. And yet, like fire, Pele has the power not only to destroy, but also to create. For eons, the story has been told, passed from one generation to the next, of how Pele brought the land into being, forming it up from the seas to build a home for her people. People who offer their love and sacrifice to her, knowing that she will protect them in times of great strife and rebuild what has been lost. After countless ages away, Pele once more has emerged to walk the mortal world. Woe to any who seek to test the goddess's fire. And to those under her protection, your salvation has arrived.
The Assassin Pele. Well, everybody, it's going to be really fun. Make sure that you stick around because we're going to get right into
I'm
it.
sticking
Well,
around.
I know.
Just
You don't
show
stick
me.
around very long. Let's get into it. I'm joined now by Clumsy, still stuck around. Ben, still stuck around. But AJ had to come in and ruin everyone's fun by putting this out.
Come on, man.
I think it's gonna be
kidding.
a lot of fun with Pele.
We're gonna have a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Look, why Pele for our first Polynesian god?
You know, it was a tough call. There's some really cool characters now that we opened ourselves up to lots of different mythologies. But we just liked a lot of things Pele had going for her. Like, Volcanoes is a very cool theme to work around.
Sure is.
We have some fire gods. We wanted to do it in a different way. So we ended up with a melee assassin. We wanted a strong female character. We had a Baron and Achilles before, and Chernobog. We had a string of male characters. So yeah, she just kind of fit the schedule really perfectly, and you know, there's a lot of good Polynesian gods, so it was a tough call.
Yeah, it was, and I know, talking to you guys, you've been very excited about this. And Ben, I do want to ask you, you know, we previewed what she would look like, or some potential looks for Pele, got a lot of feedback from the community on that. How did that go into choosing her art style, and how did we end up with this direction?
So, I mean, a lot of this was here, and we've gone through a bunch of processes, right? When we go to make a design for a character, like there's lots of iterations.
The model actually translated very well into the game.
That you see that may not
it
make
looks
it.
Really
like if you ever
nice.
saw a concept, there's like 10 concepts, and then one is the one we pick, right? So there was a lot of evolution with her.
I'm impressed. She's
initially
super
she had
close
some
to her card
boots
art.
we thought was really cool because she had it was like a magma kind of boot that felt good with the lava aspect of it. But the more and more we looked into it, like, you know what, having the feet being more like bare is a lot more authentic to Polynesian culture.
Sure.
So we saw that as an outcry also in the community. So we're like, you know what? I mean, we're kind of going along with that. So we knew that was the right choice after we saw that they were saying that's what they wanted to see.
Look, whatever choice you guys made, it looks like you nailed it. This she looks great.
She looks awesome.
Game.
That fire hair is sweet.
The flower headdress was updated as well. We had it a little more subtle as far as the flower, but we went more direct with the reference. We added the tattoos. So
the flowers are kind of really cool. If you get up close, they're actually, it's like rock. It's like volcanic rock, but it's like magma that's allowing it to look like a flower. So it's kind of hard to see.
About her walk, but
I see it now. Yeah.
So it's like getting the flower element, but also staying true to the volcanic aspect of her.
Yeah, and we were really happy with this whole process. We'll probably even start showing off some of our other art for upcoming gods sooner. Just because we feel like this was so successful.
Wow, the basics are cool.
These are basic attack animations.
So yeah, maybe you'll even get a sneak peek of Hera
sometime. Really cool style.
All right.
Maybe.
Spoiler alert.
Maybe. I mean, I already told her. They already know she's coming. But let's talk about Pele.
What's in front of us right now is Pele. This is the newest assassin joining into SMITE. Let's talk about her passive, Everlasting Flame. What does this give her?
Yeah, so Everlasting Flame, when Pele drops below half health, her flame sets light, and you're going to be able to see that on her visuals as well as the passive element. And she gains extra physical power based on her level, as well as some lifesteal and ability lifesteal. So right here you can see for 6 seconds, she's got that passive, it's a light, and she's just whacking away. This allows her to get into team fights and really dive in there and still really manage her health pool.
Now, I will say that I did get a chance to play around with her a little bit, so I'm a little bit more familiar with Pele than I have been with a lot of other previous God releases, and this passive does certainly come into play a lot of the time, and it really does feel cool because she is an all-in type of God, it feels like. He doesn't have a lot of ways to get out of fights very easily. And this passive allows her to stay in brawl very, very well.
Yeah, she has the lifesteal and the ability lifesteal, so when she's really in the thick of it, not only can she auto attack to get her health back, but she can also use her abilities, which we're going to see later on, to bring her back to full health, or I mean close to, right?
And is that passive meter filling up whenever it's ready? Because it does have an internal cooldown.
That's right. There's a timer element. Right now there's a 20-second internal cooldown, so when she gets that once, she's not going to be able to get that again for another 20 seconds. And that timer element on the UI lights up. Kind of fills and then lights up when it's active.
Okay, very, very cool. This passive is certainly going to be one to play around. The one that we definitely have to worry about a lot of the times. Really, really good.
It has some very specific theming that fits to her kit too that I think really ties it well together. Right. Just kind of Pele as a goddess. We went with this kind of protector, but in a more aggressive sense. So the whole idea of this passive is that, when she's against the ropes, the fight's about to finish, she is even more ignited and wants to continue fighting. It's really about her being a protector and a defender of the people. So even when things look grim, she wants to continue fighting, and that actually sustains her.
Ooh,
and
she got the dark eyes.
Yeah, of course.
Flame on.
So we got a couple things going on
I'm
there.
super into the flame eyes or the glowing eyes, as Ben knows in all of our art meetings. But Ben's team did a really good job adding a lot of special features to her actual cloth and her
hair as well.
Yeah, her textures and materials to brighten them up.
See that,
when
the hair brightens, her daggers get really, really bright, and that
are crazy good on this thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
Man,
so we really just wanted to kind of stick with this theme of her where she's very seen as a creation goddess and a protector, but
I
she
like
has
how
a
the
lot of
Daggers
violence
disappear
in
as
her
well. It
lore. And
works
she's
really well
known
in
to be aggressive and
Volcanoes will mess you up.
right, explosive,
Right,
which I used like
exactly.
8 times in the blog post. If you read that, I'm sorry, but
Yep.
yeah. And so her whole design was intended around her being this really dive-in, explosive assassin, and we wanted some bit to let her continue the fight, and that's I think fits her lore and her kit really well in this
Yep.
medicine.
All right, well, let's do ability number 1. That's Pyroclast. Tell me about this one, Clumsy.
So Pyroclast, she fires out a magma orb, and once it reaches its the endpoint, it solidifies and actually returns back in shards.
Okay, so a little, a couple things going on with this one. We're kind of reminiscent
She has
of
2 shots.
an old ability that
can see on the left.
reminds me kind of Ratatosker-esque.
Ratatosker, a little bit of Thor in there, but we
Yeah.
wanted to give it a whole new feel. In fact, this ability, it ranks up. So at level 1, at rank 1, it actually is only going to fire back 1 shard. So I think Pon's going to show that off right now.
He might break
Okay.
the game with this.
Hopefully he does
Going
not.
down in levels does weird
So right
stuff
there?
with cheats.
Yeah, so
Oh,
level
nice.
1.
Shout
Yeah.
outs to the programmers for this one.
She fires out that orb, and there's only 1 projectile returning back. And with each level of that ability, it's going to return back another projectile.
Okay, so as you max this up, this will, I'm assuming, do more damage as it gets ranked up, but also return damage. So you really get kind of double points for putting
Right.
it in.
The important thing to know there is that the outwards projectile, the magma part of it, is really the upfront damage. You know, that's the most important part to connect. The returning projectiles, you know, it's kind of incidental damage. If you can get all of them to connect, it's going
the
to do a lot more
secondary
damage.
damage
But what you
stays the
really
same
want to
as
do
well.
is get that outward projectile.
So just for a kind of a one that you can get the good stuff from just hitting the ability, but if you're a high skill cap player who's able to
Right.
make some plays, then you'll be able to get in there and really up that damage. It looks
Right.
like there's a UI element going on here. So
Yeah.
does that mean we've got 2 charges here?
That's exactly what that means. So another unique part of this ability is that there's actually 2 charges. So right there, you can see Pawn use 2 in quick succession, and now it's going to be on cooldown.
Okay. All right. So this is could
That's
be a
gonna be
heavy burst
chaotic in
ability
team
if you
fight.
got 2 charges of it.
Yeah, this fits well with so some of Pele's design themes as far as the actual abilities mechanically. She has multiple abilities that scale in other ways. So as we saw, there's additional projectiles as well as additional damage per rank that actually change the way she plays a little bit as she levels up. We wanted to add this as a little emphasis on the kind of explosive, eruptive nature of Volcanoes. So her abilities kind of double scale, and you're going to see other examples of that too. And she has the ability to manage these charges, which she has another ability like that too that kind of lets her have a little bit more control.
Okay.
Which is just something we wanted to test on an assassin for a long time.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of people feel like assassins are kind of just 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
But now she has a couple abilities with these like different types of cooldowns that give her a lot of different ways to kind of unload her skills in different orders.
I mean, we're already through we were through the passive and an ability, and we've already hit 2 UI elements, but I'm still seeing
Yeah,
another
we
one
loaded
there
up that a little
we're
bit.
gonna have to
But
get
we're
there.
going to get into that a little bit later.
it's all right.
All right, fair enough. Let's go to the second ability then, Eruption. This one is I would just do the ability. I just want to see it.
All right. Seems pretty simple, right?
Yeah, level 1.
And then you rank it up and
Level
it's
1,
more
we talked about
waves.
this evolution theme AJ was going on. I showed this off on Twitter earlier, and you might see what we're talking about. At rank 3, it actually expands. So at rank 1 and 2, it's going to do a knock up and a circle around you after a delay.
Okay.
And at rank 3, that circle is going to expand again.
So now
And
up
at rank 5,
5.
it expands yet one more time.
So cool. And there's a knock up for an assassin.
You know, it's important to have a little CC on assassin. It's her only CC. Helps her
a 2
get her
into
set
1.
up, and when she dives people, make sure she secures some
Or
damage.
maybe 1
but
into
there's
2
quite a
into
bit
1.
of delay. You get a lot of reaction time there.
Yes.
Gives you a lot of ways to play around it.
Yeah. The
but
knock-up
it-
is relatively low for certain other characters that can do knock-ups, right? We don't have a standardized knock-up height, so it's not going to be a Hebo water spout kind of height.
Right.
It's lower, and as well as the eruption, the 2 outer rings actually have a lower knock-up height as well.
Is
so
it a
that
knock
right there
straight
is
up,
pretty.
Clumsy?
Yeah, it is a knock
Okay, so
straight
you'll
up.
go directly up.
It's
So
huge
it'll
in team
just
fights,
place you
though.
in any other directions. It's just going to keep you in place.
Okay, so a little knock up, but a little knock up secures a lot of damage a lot of times.
Yeah, absolutely.
For assassins.
lane.
A very
I will say
visually
that
interesting ability.
I immediately tried to use that and then blink, and that does not work.
No,
you cannot do that.
There was a time where we had it able so that you can start casting this ability and then blink forwards, but honestly, there's a lot of times where it actually caused frustration and people would fail with that, and it was kind of just annoying for the actual Pele user. So we kind of made the animation match the deploy time, which just felt way smoother.
Now
And you can't. She's already animating. She's casting that ability. She's locked out from casting other abilities while that's warming up.
Right, she kind of slams the ground down there.
You know, sometimes on abilities and deployables, we call them, we will keep the god free to do other things while those activate. But for this one, the animation is tied to it. I think the timing is really important there for counterplay.
Sure.
But yeah, so of course for the Volcano Goddess, we had to go with the literal eruption
exactly,
ability
you know,
in the most literal sense we possibly could.
I think one of the important things is we wanted to keep Pele as the goddess of volcanoes, but that doesn't mean we just wanted to throw a volcano somewhere on our
looked
kit,
a lot
right?
quicker
She's an
there.
assassin that might not even felt appropriate, so we made her the heart of the volcano. She is the one erupting, and I think that's pretty thematic.
And yeah, and it's a really cool, unique ability for the game.
It is, yeah.
it's a bit of
This
a
was the
dance,
ability that stood out to me as soon as we started playing with her. I mean, it's so cool. And Ben, is it difficult for your team to do these sorts of, as you level up, you know, add in different effects and things like that nature?
That's mainly programming.
Okay.
Basically, what we'll do, like with the effects team and stuff, they'll make it so like, you know, there's 3 different like layers to this ring essentially. So they'll just say keep these off or on depending on what level you are.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the effects team did a fantastic job.
they
because I
killed
think
it,
that
man.
single ability has around 7 or 8 different entries for effects. Like,
wow,
she's got the
Yeah,
different
it
ranks,
is
she's
a
got
lot
the
of work.
warm-up effects, she's got all these different things. Not to mention the animations going on, right?
Yeah, it's not simple. None of this is simple for
Of
effects.
course not. No, of course
Let me just
not.
say that. But it's a lot of that leveling stuff is based on programming.
One last thing to note about Eruption as well is that it uses a different tech where it's an attached deployable around Pele, right? So as she fires it, it follows with her, but then once it explodes, it leaves behind, right? So as you can see what Pon was doing there, you can move forwards as Pele with an ability, but once it's deployed, that's where it's going to stay.
Okay, so
That's
you
pretty
can't.
cool,
so
actually.
if you're running away from her, chances are you'll be able to outrange this,
Right,
Unless
exactly.
she's right on top of you.
Right.
Totally.
Okay, awesome. You know, that was a pretty long walk back from base. If only there was a way that she could get there a little bit faster.
Yeah, I wonder who that would be, right?
Would that be maybe her third ability, Magma Rush?
I love this. So Magma Rush is her third ability, and it's different to what we usually do. It's actually doesn't cost any. Well, it actually costs 10 mana just for simplicity's sake. But other than that, it uses a fuel meter, which you see on the UI element as well, going downwards. So Pele starts with 100 fuel or energy, and during this ability, it actually keeps depleting by 5.
Okay, and what do you gain whenever you have this ability active?
Well, right now you get 30% movement speed. You also do a little bit of damage in the area around you.
Oh, that's good.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, wait.
Is there? Lay it on me, AJ.
So this ability can actually be refired. So you can fire it to go fast, and you can cancel it to just exit it with right click or whichever button binding you use on console. But you can actually fire it and then fire it again to go even more fast.
You gotta go fast.
I was wondering.
Turbo button.
And,
Look at that.
and consume your fuel faster.
Yep,
Okay.
that's
So if you're
right.
trying to
I was
go
wondering
long
how they do the
distance,
mobility
you're rotating
otherwise.
between lanes, you'll get more mileage out of the lower burst.
Right.
But if you want to catch up to someone quickly, or you've already closed a little bit of ground, you need to get there fast or escape right away, you can go ahead and turn on the turbo mode.
So
I like
normally
this.
you're pressing 3 and you're walking around, and then you get the "my parents aren't home" text, and that's when you
And that's when you amplify
You
that,
slam
that's
the
right.
reactivation
You slam
button.
that button.
Someone meme that up
Oh
for
my
us
god,
right
that's
now.
what happened to me.
2 for 2 on the last 2 update show memes
you're
that
right.
I'm
That's
providing.
So-
Nice work.
You're killing it lately,
As
Agro.
Pon is showing there as well, you can fire your abilities and you can basic attack while you're in Magma Rush in either the normal state or the amplified state.
It's a
I
lot
think
of
that's really
stuff to
important.
pay attention
There were
to
times
with
in
her.
the design process where we
Oh.
tried to play without that feeling.
And this
it
is
just
how you
felt
can
really jarring.
ensure that the 2 hits
and
as
I think
well.
that took a lot of animation and effects work really to get that working together.
Yeah, it was a weird like click cancel kind of spammy feel, which we didn't like. We wanted her to be able
This feels
to.
really intuitive.
Right.
Yes.
I think that's what's important because, like, we have the theme of Pele's kit. This is kind of an ability that you don't really use the normal way, right? You turn it on and then you toggle it on again, and then if you toggle it from the amp state, you go back to the normal state, right? Like it doesn't turn off. You have to you on PC you right click cancel, or on Xbox depending on your controller scheme you can press B or whatever your
Right.
setup is to cancel the ability. Or if you run out of fuel, of course, that's going to cancel automatically.
Sure. So it feels like the fuel gets consumed pretty quickly, but also regens pretty quickly. So a lot of the time, I mean, at first, whatever, I was playtesting this god, I wasn't using this nearly enough. You could, with a
Right.
10 mana cost, you should be basically using this most of the time to get around the jungle.
You can use it quite often, and I mean, the cool thing is it essentially has no cooldown.
Right.
But you can, the longer you wait, the more you can use it later.
Right.
You only get
you
trends,
use it
you
all
can
the
spend
time,
this
but then you show
forever.
up to the fight on empty.
Absolutely.
Sure.
You could be in trouble.
Right.
So if you don't really need to get to that lane right away, maybe just walk there, use your speed buff, and then turn it on when the fight
I just wonder
starts.
what her
So
survivability
there's
is,
just a lot
honestly.
of
If it's
ability
just
to
a
show off
2?
your skills and flexibility here. I think this is going to make her a pretty high skill ceiling god.
And you do get to regen all of your fuel instantly
Inside
upon
the
returning
fountain,
to
absolutely.
fountain. So
I think one of my favorite parts about this ability as well is just listen.
the heart, is it like a heartbeat?
You got like a
Drums.
faint
Oh,
Polynesian
okay.
drumming sound, and when you amplify it, Pon's gonna get some more energy.
That back animation, super cool.
So now if you
By the way.
amplify it, you hear. Oh yeah, that tempo.
Oh,
look
man,
at that.
that's so
I know.
cool.
It's honestly
Yeah.
one of my favorite parts
Speeds
about
up
Pele.
and gets louder.
Pele.
It's super dope.
That
Audio
is-
team did a great job.
So cool. By the way, back animations have become one of my favorite parts of like so many gods and skins these
Yeah.
days. Baron's was phenomenal.
Yep.
This one also great for Pele. Yeah, I can hear it now like a little bit quieter.
Yeah.
Dude, that's gonna amp me up. I'm getting
It
in the
is,
line,
it
like,
really
I'm
does.
almost there.
Really get in
Yeah.
the moment, you know?
Imagine that while you're rushing into battle, man.
Oh
Right.
man, that's exactly what I need. That's why I've been playing that Star Spangled Nike skin because the music
Oh,
gets
yeah.
me ready to
Right.
go. All right.
Um,
Well, the first 3 abilities have been really sick, so we may as well look for the ultimate here.
Oh, this
This
recovery
is one
going
that
on.
I'm super excited about, but I'm kind of biased. Volcanic Lightning. And I'm
right.
biased because lightning is the coolest element ever, and it's always the best. And I love that just on the bottom, before you even see it, that it's magma. It's what it's all about. And the UI icons, they're all red. And then Volcanic Lightning is
Here's
a
the
very
special one.
stark blue.
You know, and lightning does occur naturally when volcanoes erupt.
Yep.
So there's some logic to this.
Yes.
We weren't just throwing it in. We wanted to add it. We were really looking at all the different interesting aspects of volcanoes and trying to draw from them into different abilities as opposed to just spawning a cone everywhere, right?
Yes.
So I think we really did a good job on that.
All right, well, let's
Yeah.
take a look at Volcanic Lightning. We saw a little bit of a preview of the targeter there.
So we've got the targeter, it's a dash, and if you can see when you connect with someone, there's actually a cone element too.
Okay.
So when you don't hit anyone, it's just a simple dash.
Okay.
And,
Oh, so that's
well,
the
you
secondary
also get a buff,
mobility.
which we'll
Nice.
talk about right afterwards. But if
Sure.
you connect with someone after
Yeah, she's got
the
lightning.
cooldown goes,
Oh,
she has the
man.
lightning. I really love the
Right.
aesthetics.
It's so
there.
cool.
She
This-
gets lightning
wait.
damage
Right
after firing this ability.
You hit an enemy and you do a massive
this-
splash damage.
is this Mortal
afterwards,
Kombat?
And then you get 3 extra attacks
Dude, that
of
looks
cone lightning.
so good. That looks
Is
so
that Mortal
cool.
Kombat?
It looks awesome. The sounds are awesome. One of my favorite parts as well is that after you hit someone, your daggers go into like this lightning effect.
I mean, it's
It
even
looks
lightning.
really
it's
sweet.
so.
Yeah, you really get that
What's it,
whole aesthetic
Raiden?
going.
Gives
Yeah.
her absolutely massive team fight potential with some good setup and
Yeah.
timing. She can charge in,
Wow.
hit the entire team, and also,
Holy.
as you can see, Eruption works well
Yeah.
for the similar type of grouping. So
Yeah.
if you get grouped up, like if you get a bad Athena taunt and the Pele is ready to go,
Oh, man.
Look at that.
you're going to devastate a
Yeah.
late game team fight.
So-
But it does have a little bit, I'd say, a drop off on the single target. She's really good at this kind of fighting.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of times where you're going to be in this kind of a state with all the enemies around you and they're not trying to hit you at all.
Right.
But that's when the passive comes into play,
Right,
right?
you can lifesteal.
Exactly. Once you start getting drop below 50% health, you have the lifesteal element with the ability lifesteal, and now you're doing a lot of incidental AoE damage that's now refilling your health bar.
And I've definitely just used that all just to get out a few times.
Oh,
you know,
totally.
I go around the corner, I see Pon Pon in the jungle, and I'm like, nope.
I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
I'll just do my little lightning spiral away back home.
And also go really fast once
Yeah,
you're
there's
around
no-
the
so that's the
corner.
thing. You can actually have Magma Rush active with all these abilities, including your ultimate, right? So you can have your 3 active, and you dash in with your ulti, and you've still got that AoE field. That's
Man, so cool.
Her abilities really layer in a very interesting way.
that's dope.
Yeah.
They really do. And this seems to
I'm
me like
excited.
assassins, in my mind, by nature, are all kind of high skill cap because
Sure.
you need to kill the other person before they kill you. But the way that you can order these abilities in different variations, you know, are you knocking up to guarantee the back end hits of your pyroclast, or are you using it to set the initial hit
gonna be
up? Are you
interesting
using it to hit
how well
your ultimate first?
you can
like
hit
there are
the
so
ult
many
as
different
well.
things that you can do.
Cone is not
and
that wide.
and that's going to lead to some really exciting plays, I think. With
Yep.
Pele. Do we expect her to be an early game assassin, a late game assassin?
I think she's the most effective kind of in the middle game. So she has 2 charges of her pyroclast of her first ability,
Right.
which means that her early jungle is pretty strong. But remember, at rank 1 and 2, you're only getting the few return projectiles back, right?
Right.
So once you start leveling up that 1, leveling up the eruption as well in your 2, you're going to start really reaching peak performance. So I think mid game is really where she's strongest.
Typical
with
sort of
that.
pen build sort of
Oh
idea.
yeah, picking up the Crusher, Jotuns, even a Titan's Bane, right? Just going for that classic pen build
What
is
about
super
Soul
strong.
Eater? Soul Eater, because she already
Soul
gets
Eater.
ability lifesteal from her
Absolutely.
passive, right? Like you
Yes.
could start to heal for like a crazy
Soul
amount.
Eater, Bloodforge work really well with her. In fact, even Shifter Shields, because once
Yep.
you dip low with that 50%,
Sure.
you get the double effect, right?
Right.
Both from the item and from the passive.
One of those semi-tanky items works really well with her all-in kind of play style. You can be in danger if you're not careful, so I like to pick up one of those.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot. I mean, you're basically using the ultimate to escape, and a little bit the extra movement speed certainly helps, but it's no circuit mobility. You know, what I
Right,
mean?
exactly. I mean, her Magma Rush, her 3 is really strong, and she can use that. But it's not a leap. It's not something that is gonna get you over walls, right? So while she has a lot of mobility, she also is lacking a lot of things that would, really get her to the other side of walls. Really, that's really important for certain characters.
Yeah, in my experience, once she was in, someone was dying, whether it was her or someone else. So,
which, funnily enough, is very thematic to her lore as well, because she was in a lot of battles, and she would often lose those battles. So this is kind of her redeeming quality. She's gonna go in and she's gonna fight and win it.
Okay, so you got to make sure you learn how to play around that passive and things like that. I believe we have the Pele
the movement
recolor
speed here is already
available to
550
take a
with
look
one
at,
movement speed.
called
That's pretty
Pele.
good.
This one, oh, that is so cool. I was gonna
It's
say, what do you
super
do
sweet.
if it's all magma? But that looks so dope. That's a great card art too.
Yeah.
We brought in some blues and teals. Complements her color scheme.
Look at that.
Original
That's
color
super
for me.
cool. I love how we're not just like color shifting a little bit. We're really going for contrast.
And there's even edits we had to do in the material to kind of make that hair work with that well enough. But yeah, we definitely want to push a little bit farther.
Shout
Not
out to
sure.
Ben's team.
On this one.
Yeah,
man,
Trevor Hennington, he did the
Maybe I
model
get
for
bought
this.
off the number one.
He just murdered it. Like, it's really hard to get like the ethnicity right.
Sure. Right,
Especially with a female. Females are hard to make already, but getting ethnic changes to be appropriate and feel good, that's hard to do, especially with the facial features. He killed it.
She feels very Hawaiian,
and this is
genuinely, which is great.
I also wanted to shout out to Vivian. She just moved over to a different project, but this is her last god, and she did an amazing job with the design.
Speaking to AJ's point as well, the voice actor Nicole Ghost, I think, did a fantastic job. So if we have a little list of like some of the voice,
that's a great idea, Clumsy. Let's take a listen to that voice back.
Woohoo! Woohoo! You rock. So awesome. No one can extinguish my flame. Hey, you move slow like magma, but lack any of the burn. Don't get too close now. You can't handle this fire. Did you know you can eat lava? Only once though. When I get angry, I just erupt. Oh, there's smoke everywhere.
That is my favorite laugh animation in a while.
Yeah,
the
she
point and
just
laugh.
points and laughs at you.
Yeah,
and she like picks up a little like magma ball and juggles it with her feet during her taunt. Yeah,
some magma hacky sack like
and
we play all the time.
The voice we really wanted to be careful to try something
beings.
sounded really
Luckily,
authentic.
you're no such thing.
Sure, looks.
I like the voice
Animations
back.
are on point too. This is
favorite, but I think
everything
it's
feels
good.
solid. Really solid.
So we really want to, certain gods we just take a little extra time and really try to make sure we get the cultural feel right. I mean, I think Ganesh is probably one of the historic ones we did the best ever, and Pele is right up there, and I really
This
hope
could be
everybody
good.
Feels good about that.
This looks pretty nice
His
already.
mastery art is awesome.
So
I
sick,
love
dude.
this
The
one,
lava
too.
trail where she came from the cave or wherever. I don't know
Like
where
she
that
just
is.
spiraled her way right out of that mountain.
Magma Rush.
Yeah,
right up there.
exactly,
Ooh,
like-
look at that.
Looks really, really good. Still, of course, have to have the fiery hair
You got to.
involved, but
I honestly really just love the fiery hair. I think it looks
I know.
really cool. I think I mentioned like 5 times now,
Yeah.
but just
Legendary
the way it
looks better
flows
for
as well.
sure.
Like it's not just a static.
no, it
effect,
looks
moving.
like
This looks
I mean
very
it's
good.
definitely all together. Magma will make be
Very,
the best
very good.
hairspray ever, basically, but it does feel like hair instead of just a block that's hanging off of her head.
Totally. Legendary looks sweet.
Legendary's dope, and let's take a look at that diamond. Unfortunately, will not be
Nice.
out in time for you to use that 3 times worshippers coming up this weekend, but I'm sure there'll
Not
be a
bad either.
future 3 times worshippers event.
I
where
might
you can
actually like
grind
a
out
default
this.
the best so
Someone
far,
will
but
still get a
the
diamond in the
legendary
first
series
round,
nice.
even
yeah,
without
absolutely.
the boost.
Yeah,
Diamond's also cool.
shout outs to those
You
to those
crazies out
grinders.
there.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it. I truly do not. But those rocks
Hey,
in the hair.
Passion,
Well, she's
looking
gotta get
good.
another
Those
skin
guys
soon
are
as
Diamond
well.
love it.
skin looks great too.
Yep,
Heat sink.
everything looking good
Well,
right now
that's
for Pele.
Pele.
That's Pele, and she is also the final god part of the Divine Uprising.
Yep.
Which is
Yep.
very important, and I believe that she will also have a skin just like Baron and Chernobog did during the Divine Uprising as well. For when you complete the Polynesian portion of the Divine Uprising event, we should have a preview for that to check it out. I believe it's called Heatsink Pele, and
Oh, nice.
oh, that
Very
is so
different.
cool.
I actually like this also.
She's in the future, but she's still on fire, kinda.
Yes, I love what the art team did with the color scheme here, and she's got this kind of stylized flame symbol
Yeah.
on her chest and
Yeah,
belt.
that's
It's
right.
like these
Also very
cyber
cool.
light up daggers. It's gonna look awesome.
Dude, that is so cool. I am all about that life. And of course, you will get an actual look at that skin in depth during a future update show. Those are usually towards the end of that of those 3 patch cycles that we have. You know what else you'll get whenever you complete this final portion of the Divine Uprising event, as long as you've been keeping up with both the Slavic and the Voodoo pantheons? A Bellona Tier 5 skin. You want to check it out? I want to check it out.
Right,
Let's
they're
check
gonna
it
show
out.
us? Oh wow, I didn't think they would show us this one entirely. That's cool. Move to the side a little bit.
I was reborn from the flames of the Elder Dragons. They chose me. To rally the strong and righteous and fight for all that is just at any cost. I, Divine Dragon Bellona, have arrived.
Nice. They look really cool in game too. At least that art there, which I think is Singing.
That was so cool.
That dragon actually bursts out of the ground when she ults.
No way.
Yes, it
Okay,
does.
I'm sold.
Okay.
And I
I'm
believe
double
she can summon the dragon to fly
Yeah.
around in the sky with
It's
her,
gonna be
with
all
her
over.
special emote.
A true tier 5 in every sense.
it's looking
here
amazing.
for Divine Dragon
Wow.
Bellona. Of course, remember that is your reward for completing the Divine Uprising event, and it's looking really, really good. And speaking of tier 5s, we have to show you guys some concept arts. You were talking about concept arts earlier, Ben. Ganesh and Ares, they won the community vote. They're the final 2 for this year's Odyssey tier 5. Let's take a look at some of the concept arts there. We'll start with Ganesh. This is Beast Force Ganesh concept art.
This is the final 2.
So what's the idea here behind this skin?
This is a team of mech pilots. So
Of
you can
course.
see there's a different color and animal theme for each of the different mechs that he'll be able to transform between. And we did a little bit of a lore shout out to Ganesh with the pilots.
The mouse is significant in the lore, so we figured you don't really get a lot of that attention anywhere in the game much. So
Sure.
we were like, okay, now that we're gonna try doing like a mech thing, let's give them pilots. Let's take it to the next level, right?
That is so
Each of these
cool.
mechs will be piloted by a mouse mech pilot, and you can see them kind of standing there. They're sitting in the mechs in the number
like
1 and
that.
2 concept. There's a little bit of.
I just don't get
They'll
how
all
he's
have
gonna
their own
change
personalities.
to the mechs.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So that is your preview for what you could vote for Ganesh. That is Beast Force Ganesh. And I want
like
them
a
all.
bird and a
That's,
rhino, too.
I
How's
want
that
all
work?
of them.
I mean, that's the point of a tier 5, right?
Yeah,
We had
yeah.
this bracket. Everybody was battling it out the whole way. We ended up with Ganesh and Ares. We took a lot of feedback.
Ares
and we
was
did a
the-
lot of iteration work internally. We
Yep.
had to grind through a lot of tough ideas,
Yeah.
tough choices, but that was our favorite option for Ganesh. And now we're going to show off our favorite option for Ares. And these are the 2 everyone will be voting on, so the community will decide.
Oh, Lord. Dude, that's so cool. Look at him. He's a badass.
Of course he is. He's Ares.
His power consumes all.
So the narrative here, it's a real simple thing. Basically, it's like, dude comes across a shield. He's like a good, great like hero kind of guy.
Yep.
And then he doesn't realize the shield is actually like more of an evil kind of thing, and it corrupts him over
It's like a
time.
cursed artifact,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay.
He thought he was
he
getting
loses
that,
the shield as
that
well.
perfect loot drop
Right.
raid,
The epic.
but the power comes at a price.
Okay.
And as we like with Ares, you know, he's got a dark side in
Right.
his actual character, but we have not done like a really cool
Cue
good guy
random
Ares
background
skin
music.
either, so we get a real good differentiation from the skin, and then we get to watch this descent. And not only does he kind of turn more evil, but he's going to be kind of turning into more of a phantom.
Yeah.
Deformed.
Wraith-like kind of thing,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
shadowy.
This corrupted phantom hero, and you can see in this final form he's floating and flying, and he's got
I definitely like the
that are
chains.
almost alive, and the shield as more and sword are more part of
The
him.
shield is taken over now.
Yeah.
So cool. It's so cool. This one's called Godslayer Ares. You know what? This voting process was a lot of fun. Getting a chance
I actually
to
don't
see
know which
these
one I like
concepts was a lot
better.
of
I think
fun.
both are really
But
cool.
I think there's one fundamental problem, is that now that I've seen both of these concept
you
arts,
want them both, huh?
my soul demands both.
I feel like the
will
other one is
never
just
be
gonna make
happy
it in.
and never complete again.
I plead the 5th.
You know,
Until I get both.
we are always happy to do what we can. Maybe the loser of the vote might end up as a tier 4, tier 3 skin sometime down the road. You never
Sure.
know.
Yep.
But yeah, so community, I'm really happy with how the voting went this year. I think it was really fun. The whole bracket system, there was a lot of discussion,
Right.
a lot of close calls, a lot of tough decisions made. So this is the final decision.
Yep.
Get out there and vote. We'll be posting this link everywhere.
I have a
Trying to
thought
make sure
on
we
this.
reach
I'll tell you
all
in a
corners
sec.
of the SMITE community
You'll
and
see
make
what
sure they
they
get the
say.
chance to vote on this. And we will determine our Season 5 Odyssey final reward skin between those 2.
Very soon. So Ganesh and Ares, support mains rejoice. You will get one of those. And again, that'll be up on all our socials pretty soon on where you can vote and things like that. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. It was a solid update. 5.14 bringing Pele to the battleground of the gods and a bunch of good stuff as well. But don't think you can just tune us out now. You can close the tab and whatever. We've got the SPL Summer Finals coming up. We got a really short break as we get ready, but stay tuned. Thanks for watching.
All right. I will just tune them out right now, even though they said not to do that. Oh, no, realistically, what I want to say, I think Pele is awesome. I think Pele is going to be very strong because her kit just looks very scary. We'll go more in depth on that in the patch notes review, where we'll have her actual numbers as well. But on the skins, quick thought that I had like after a few seconds. On one hand, what I don't like so much... Oh, what's this? Is this something... Is this SPL? Alright, just random background. The Ares skin is obviously, you know, your normal dark, edgy kind of thing, but at the same time, it's a really cool one, I think. So that's a solid plus for me. Why I think it makes more sense to vote for Ares, just from my personal perspective, is because the Ganesh skin, like the big deal with it being a tier 5 skin is that it has 3 different mech versions with their own pilots. And honestly, I would rather see that as a tier 4 with just one of the mechs, like the Ganesh mech, which actually looks like an elephant and not like a rhino or a bird. And, you know, the corresponding pilot to that. I don't know how much effort they would put into the animation for that particular one in regards to the animal that sits inside, so that's a bit of a downside. But overall, I think that's a bit, you know, something that can be executed better at the tier 4. Whereas with the Ares skin, you could have the last consumed form as a tier 4 as well, I guess. But I think, you know, the whole transition does a little bit more. I don't really see which part of Ganesh kit would consistently change in between the forms. It's probably just something like whenever he backs or whenever he ults or whenever he bestows a kill. So might not quite be as interesting. But that's just my thoughts. I just wanted to throw that out quickly because it just came to my head right now. And with that, I thank you guys very much for watching. I hope this was entertaining to watch. It was most certainly enjoyable for me. And it wasn't even too hot, so that's nice too. And I will maybe see you for the patch notes review later. Or do you guys be watching SPL? I don't know. Until then, Duke Sloth, out.